It's hard to believe we are starting May, so we are closing in on the end of the school year. This month, my theme of the month is really just to learn something new. So for each one of you, it's going to be something different. Learn a new trick, watch a YouTube video, go on the TikToks, and make teaching more fun and exciting and engaging. So that's my challenge to you. I'd love to hear if you do come across something and share with me, because I also like to learn new things. As we are kind of headed towards summertime, you want to think about what your summer PD goals are. Do you have any? If you don't, that's okay, no judgment. I've got a couple of podcasts that you might be interested in. The first one is Jonathan Haidt wrote the book called The Anxious Generation, How the Great Rewiring of Childhood is Causing an Epidemic of Mental Illness. And not to be alarmist, but a lot of the research and information that he gives is really compelling. And I've listened to many podcasts that he's on, and I personally would love to hear your thoughts about it. And then I have an episode from Dr. Becky called Good Inside, all about losing your teen to the screen. So a little bit of a theme this week with podcasts and things. As far as your summer plans and upcoming PD, I've got an epic list from my fellow coach, Patricia. She does this every year. If you are interested in pursuing some of these endeavors, there's information there, things that you might be interested in. I have a quick video that I made for using Google Tools for translation support, like in the moment with students, something that you might find kind of helpful, using the voice to text to do some writing, but then using Google Translate to quickly be able to kind of flip that and improve communication between, teachers and students. I've got a few different Apple resources for you. One is how to use guided access. So if you ever want to lock a student into one app, there's some stuff that you can do that's called guided access. It kind of walks you through how to do that. Lastly, I have a pretty fun and inexpensive iPad idea where you can use those wire locker shelves. So end of the year, kids are cleaning out their lockers, take all those locker shelves. But you can use them to create like a little iPad stand station. We did it in Mrs. Haas's class in 3rd grade, where you use the iPad on top of the stand and you can put your worksheet underneath and then use the built-in translation tools. And again, it's just a really good in the moment when you don't have time ahead of time to get things prepared. Just for fun, I've included a project idea I was actually working on for Mrs. Peel's classroom at Ridge Lawn, Mother's Day project using, things my mom says. So the purpose of these newsletters and the newsletter video is really to not only share out things that I find throughout the month that I think might be helpful, but also to kind of share and celebrate and cheer on the good things that are happening in the classroom. Let's start out with Chicago Ridge and talk about some of the things that have been going on. We are working on a project, worked on a project called Worst Slides Ever. And this was 4th grade at Lawn first off, and then a lot of times I teach these and then they catch on and they'll get taught in other places. So I know Smart Lab over at Central is now looking to kind of bring this project in as well, which is great. I love when we can do one thing and make it impactful for lots of people. Having students improve their presentations, be it PowerPoint or Google Slide or whatever, by talking about the what not to do, intentionally making like a bad or a poorly designed PowerPoint, and then having to explain on each slide what they did that's not so great. So maybe their choice of colors makes the text hard to read. Random gifts that have nothing to do with the subject. I'm sure you've never experienced that before. But having them talk about that and name it, I think goes a long way towards using those skills in a positive way then moving forward. At Central, I did a lot of planning. In Smart Lab, students work on, video skills, video production skills. We wrapped it together with a science solar system project, green screen. Some time was spent on that, creating task cards or job role cards. So if you've used cooperative learning in your classroom and you have different job roles, we actually made those into physical cards that the students could hold. So that way if they switch roles or they rotate through, everybody kind of gets a chance at doing the roles that's there, but also as a reminder, that visual reminder in front of them. We worked on a couple of projects relating to the solar eclipse. So if you remember last month, solar eclipse. At Central in the Smart Lab, we did a project with paper plate, actual physical like paper cutouts of like the earth, the sun, and to kind of show how the solar eclipse was going to work for the younger kids. And then in the older grades over at Lawn, we actually reproduced the concept of the solar eclipse using Google Slides and creating like a stop motion animation. So I have examples of both of those things down in the newsletter that you can check out. I did work at Findlay in the library. We are trying to get our act together for the end of the school year and the Chromebook collection all together and getting a plan done for that. One more project that was really fun that I worked on this past month, we first started it in Mrs. Becker's 5th grade class, but it's actually, translated kind of over to Central, where I'm working with some 5th grade classes on the Bigfoot reading part of the HMH program. Students have to decide if Bigfoot is real or not, and then had to take that kind of fact or fiction argument. We had like a whole script writing like outline for them. They recorded their argument in Adobe Express, animate from audio. There's actually a character that is a Sasquatch, so you can embody the Sasquatch and talk about why you're totally not real, or yes, you totally exist and here's why. So that's pretty fun, and I find that anytime you can add those kind of silly things, the what not to do, the I am a Sasquatch and here's why I'm not real, it does boost that engagement factor with kids. So if you need help on how to be ridiculous, I'm your girl. Hey, let's talk about South Holland now. And first of all, I have to give like super woo congratulations for our Google Level 1 educators. I've got 10 teachers at Greenwood that earned Google Certified Level 1 in this past month. I've got 3 more from McKinley. I'm floored and proud of how many teachers accomplished this in the last month. I think it's great. Doesn't mean you still can't do it. Let's get that going. Google Level 1, so many teachers have done it at this point that you could probably ask any of them. Any questions you have, if you're hesitant or you're worried, you do need to, I will tell you, you need a place to sit down where it's quiet and you are uninterrupted. Also, congratulations to Juliana Pomian, our music teacher at Greenwood. Not only has she done her Google Certified Level 1, she went and took and passed her Google Certified Level 2 test. So special shout out for that accomplishment. And let's talk about some of the work we did in South Holland this month. Some 4th and some 5th grade classes, an Earth Day project we worked on. We took our Shrinky Dinks that we know and love, and we used the clear ones to create little charms for sun catchers. So if you look in the newsletter, there are some images of that where students kind of strung them together to make these long like strands. In Miss Hotchkins' class, they had some Model Magic air dry clay that they put in and made beads and put those on. Very cute. I worked with 5th grade Mrs. Palmer's class actually twice this past month. One time we worked on memes and meme creation as a form of visual communication and learning how to use the tech tools. We use Google Slides to create these. The other project we did was they learned some stop motion animation by creating a recycling animation. We got a little paper ball flying into the recycling bin just to learn the basics of how a stop motion animation or digital flipbook would work. And then in 4th grade, we used that same concept of the stop motion in Google Slides to do volcano eruption, which is a science unit that 4th graders were working on. And students had to illustrate the stages of the volcano from, the earth shifting and the magma and the gas building up underneath to the full volcanic explosion. And we got to learn some drawing tools in Google Slides that we might not have gotten to use before. We used the WeVideo screen and webcam recorder to record our screen while the stop motion animation, we were running that. And also a good way to demonstrate understanding of a process that you learned in class. And I just think, what else could you use this on? It's not just volcanoes, it's other things. For Greenwood construction planning, which I'm so psyched about, I actually got to go to the architect office one day and we were looking at finishes and colors and things like that, and basically just the more I get to hear about it, the more excited and psyched I am for it. So Greenwood teachers, you are in for such an awesome treat next year when you come back. If you see something cool going on in the classrooms and you want to join in, or you want me to take an idea and bring it into your room, please don't hesitate to reach out. Don't wait too long, because we are down to the end of the school year, and these days in May, if they're not full already, they are getting very full. So I cannot guarantee I'll be able to do exactly what you need to do or you want to do, but I can certainly give you the tools, even if it means, trying it out yourself. Remember, the theme of this month is to learn something new and try something new. So don't be afraid of that. It's the end of the year. Use this time. I love this time of year as a teacher because I would use this time to kind of pilot things that maybe I wanted to try for next year. So I would kind of get my feet wet and kind of, will this work? Will this not work? Kind of test it out, see how it goes. So talk soon. Have a great month, and I'll be seeing you for just a little bit longer, and then we're done for the year. Yay!